Good morning, class 10. Welcome to another lecture of English grammar. And presently, we are doing a series on the application portion of English grammar. So we have done editing, and next we will see two new different things today, among which one is common and one is new to your syllabus. Means you are not accustomed, it's not that you are not accustomed with that thing, but it's just a new addition to your new syllabus. Okay. So what we are dealing with? Application. Application of which things that we have already done, like tense, determiners, prepositions, etc. So many things and things that we will do. But this all the things, as I have told you in the previous lecture also, will be tested in a form of something else. And what is that else? That is the thing that we are going to deal in this application series. We have already done editing, and today we are going to deal with this topic, cloze passage. This is a Z and not a S, okay? Cloze passage. So by the term passage, what do we understand? We understand that passage is a combination of certain lines. Combination of certain lines that form an entire paragraph or a passage, and in that passage there will be something that we have to deal with in this topic of cloze passage. So whenever we see a passage, what do we do? Whenever we see any passage, think that what do we do? We will read it. What we will do? We will read the passage. Read the passage in what manner? Read the passage carefully. Why? Why you should be careful in reading the passage? Because that passage is new to you. So another thing, it will be a new passage. So it will not be an old passage that you are, not is an old passage in that which you are common, but it is going to be a new passage. In a new passage, what you have to do, the first thing, you have to be very careful while reading it. Why? Because it's your exam and this passage will have certain mistakes. And what will you have to do? Rectify. Okay, so you have to read a passage very carefully in which there will be certain mistakes, and your work is to rectify and correct that passage. So this is the thing that you have to do in a passage. Now, what type of mistakes can be there in a passage? There can be those grammatical errors, and there can be something missing. Okay, so when something is missing, like I'm reading a line and certain word is missing there, so in that condition, what do we call that? There is certain word missing in that passage. So when a word is missing in the passage, it results in grammatical errors. So this mistake that is you're going to have be in your cloze passage is that missing of a certain word which will create a grammatical error. And what you have to do about this thing? You have to rectify. Okay. So firstly there will be a new passage and you have to be very careful about reading it, and then there will be mistakes, and those mistakes will create grammatical errors due to the lack of words in those passage, and you have to rectify and correct that passage. So this is the whole scenario of this topic. So after understanding that what we have to do in this topic, next is the marks issue. How much marks can be there in a closed passage? As I've told you that your knowledge will be tested through closed passage or editing or anything else through of the grammars will be tested like in those closed passage in editing and omission and all those things. So it will carry again a 4 marks. How much? 4 marks. But don't take it lightly that okay, there is only 4 marks, so we are not going to study it so much because it's going to be a very easy thing. No, because it is only thing that in this 4 marks you can get all these 4 marks together. Okay, so in literature there is a tendency of deduction of marks, but in grammar there is no tendency of deduction of marks. So you have to be very careful and get all these 4 marks from this topic of your grammar, where your application, your knowledge will be tested through editing, closed passage, etc. and etc. Now, I will give you some lines where it will be easy for you to understand that how you have to do that. So after marks and after understanding the topic, we are going to deal with an example. You can write all these in your notebook. See, here a word will, every passage begins with a word, so an introductory word will be there. Next, how will this gap or blank or this missing thing come? It will come in the form of a dash. Okay, I will explain you this later. Okay, so this is a line. You can see it's a complete line with a full stop, and it's not a passage. It's just what? It's just a line. And what is there in this line? There is a dash and a AO written over here. Okay, so this is an incomplete line. What type of a line? Incomplete line. Okay, so how is this related to passage? So it's not going to come that there is going to, it's just a one line. So in your exam, no one line is going to come. What is going to come? Passage. So that means there will be another line with reference to this line only. There will be no separate lines on separate topics. Instead, there will be a combination of lines which are interlinked. So you can see these two lines are interlinked. What are they? Interlinked. So this is one line and this is another line which both are interlinked. So that is making it a passage rather than two separate sentences. So here are interlinked lines which are incomplete. So what you have to do? You have to complete this. What you have to do? You have to complete these lines. So how will you complete them? Here is one dash where A is written. Here is the second dash where B is written. So in your A portion there will be three options like is, are and was. And in your B portion there will be again three words, three sentences, three things like are, will be, has. Okay, so here are three options for number A dash and here are three options for this B dash. So don't confuse. You cannot take any option from here and put it here, or take any option from here and put it here. What you have to do, you have to be conscious about the numbering. This is A, so it will be this, and this is B, so it will be this. Now you have to find out that which of these words are perfectly suitable in these positions. Like so, what you have to do, you have to read. Elephants dash the largest land mammals. So in this A, what you have to do, you have to first insert the first option like is. Elephants is. Do you think with this S, is will go? No, it is not going to be that because elephants are plural. So next is R. Elephants are the largest land mammals. So the R is completely suitable over here. So what we are going to write over here? R. And once we found this correct answer, I've always told you there is no necessary steps should be taken for making things complicated. Okay, so this option is suitable here. So okay, we are just going to write this in your copy with this correct answer and frame this passage. Okay, next is 3 species of elephants be, okay, dash living today. So 3 species of elephant, either it will be are or it will be or it will be has. So 3 species of elephants. So here is a are. So now you know here also it will be are. Why? Because it's not going to be will be. Why? Because this is a tense that we are continuing. That is totally here. It's not that in future things. Elephants are the largest. So 3 species of elephants are living today. Why? Also because of this living thing. Okay, so this is the thing which is happening now. So in this way, the tense is tested in these 2 lines, which forms an entire passage. So are, will be, has. So has will not be there and will be will also be not there. You can look for to confirm again for the second and the third options. You can have a look at them and you can try inserting them over here and trying to pronounce the line that how is it reading. And if that is not found sufficient, kindly leave it. No necessary steps should be taken to further complicate it. I'm telling you repeated number of times. So this R is suitable here. So this forms the entire line. Okay. So now how much time should be given to this application in your exam? We know we have limited number of time to complete a paper. So for this close passage, how much time should be given? It totally depends on your intelligence. Okay, so it will vary from student to student, but from a mediocre average perspective, I'm telling you, when you're reading a line, elephants dash the largest land mammals, 3 species of elephants dash living today. So see the time when I'm reading it. For the first time, you will read it like this. Elephants dash the largest land mammals. 3 species of elephants dash living today. Is are. 3 species are. Okay. So, this is the entire time that I took to do this thing. Why? Because I am confident about the tense thing. I am well accustomed with this tense thing. So, this is the time duration that has been that I took to do these 2 lines. Okay. So there will be entire passage and the time duration, I'm telling you, maximum it could be 10 minutes. Because if you are sure it's just going to be in 4 to 5 minutes you're going to complete this passage. If you're unsure, then you're going to read it twice, thrice and all those things, and then things will be complicated. But if you are sure and you're confident about your answer, you're just going to read it and then you're going to fill it up. So it's not going to take more than 10 minutes, I hope, for you people. Now after time and after this example, as I always tell you about the tricks. So what are the tricks that you should apply in this closed passage thing? First is that careful reading. Many a times it's going to happen that you are not sure of this answer. You're not sure of this option that it will be is, are or will be or what. But a careful reading, just by reading the lines, like catching certain words, it's very much possible that even if you don't know the answer, you can attempt this. Why? Because when we read a line, we know in our head that okay, this line reads like this. Like elephants dash the largest mammals. So we know that elephants will be, no, elephants to abhi tak hai zinda. So that means elephant are. Okay, so you will have this in your mind. So even if you get such lines, elephants dash the largest mammals, and even if you're unaware of the answer, so you know that elephants to abhi zinda hai, so I'm going to apply a R over there. So this type of a Hindi thought is going to come in your head when you're going to read this line. So apply that thing R over here. So you're not going to apply that will be, the future tense over here. Okay. So a careful reading will solve your closed passage thing, even if you are unaware of the answer. So no need to worry about this. Next, link the sentences. Okay, once you find that in a passage present tense is used, you know that the thing which is happening in present. Okay, so you know whatever lines are going to come after that, they will be generally what? Present. There will be some lines that, okay, I am doing this now, I will do this later. So with this word later, you know that it will be a future tense. But generally what is happening, if the scenario is in present, it will be in present only. But certain exceptions will also be there, for which you have to be very careful. Like the word later will tell you that it will be a future tense. So catch certain words and link the sentences. Okay, so linking the sentence and catching words. So these are again two tricks. And now another thing is what? Eliminate. Eliminate what? Eliminate the wrong answer. Eliminate which one? Eliminate the wrong answer. Like elephants dash the largest mammals. Elephant will be. If you get the first option, will be. No, we are going to cut. Elephants is. No, is not there. Why? Because the S is there with elephant. So elephants are. Okay. So in what manner I did this? By eliminating the wrong answers. Like option B, A is. Option B is what? First option is. Second option is will. And third option is are. So elephants is. There is a S over there. No. Elephants to abhi zinda hai. So no will. Elephants are. So how did I do this? Even if I don't know the answer, I can cut off the wrong ones and then I will find the right answer. So in this manner, by elimination also, you're able to do this. So this is what your closed passage deals with. And I'm sure you're going to do this, because no tense, no determiners, no preposition topic I'm going to discuss in this lecture, because we have already discussed all those things. So this was just about this application portion. So our next thing in this series is omission. Okay. So I'm going to deal just a bit about this. Why? Because you're already accustomed to it, and most chances are that this is not going to be a serious issue or a serious thing in your examination, as editing closed passage is on the headlines in this type of in this exam this year. So omission is not taking a good position in this race. So we are going to deal with it just a bit. So as from this word, what we know omission means to omit something. That is, there will be something which is omitted from that portion. So that thing, our closed passage, also it was dealing with something missing. So this omission is also going to be with something missing. But what is the difference between the closed passage and omission? There was in closed passage, what was there? There was a passage. Okay. But in omission, there can be lines or passage or anything. But the most chances of it is also that it will be in a passage form. Okay. So here is also missing and here is also missing. Here, the form was in fill in the blanks. Here the form was in fill in the blanks. But here the form will be in a error and correction form. there will be not a error and correction thing. Error and correction will not be there, but the form will be of error and correction. Means there will be like error, we know that here is a column about error, here is a column about correction, and here are the sentences written over here. So the form will be, the structure of this thing in your question paper is that. Okay, so this is the form about which we are not much interested. Why we are not interested? Because that is not going to bring you any marks over there. So it was just a structural thing in your question paper. Next, marks. Marks again is going to be 4 marks if it comes, but chances are it's not going to come and close passage is going to come. So marks issue is done. Next, after marks, what we see? We always see example. Example. How will the question come? Question will come that in the following passage, one word has been omitted. One word has been what? Omitted. In the following passage, one word has been omitted. Next, in each line, where will this one word be omitted? In each line. Then what you have to do about this? Write the missing word. Write the missing word. And how will you write this missing word? Along with the word that comes before and after it. Along with the word that comes before and after it. So a passage will be there from which one word will be omitted. Where? In each line. Then what do you have to do? So this is going to be your question and this is going to be your answer. And what you have to do? You have to write that missing word and 2 more things you have to write. What? That is along with the word that comes before it and that comes after it. So 3 words, this missing word, before word and after words. 3 words you have to write. In which form? Like that there was an error correction thing, columns were there, in that column form. So in that column form you have to write which word? This missing word. There is no error over there. Okay, you don't have to correct any error. Instead of filling up the blanks, you have to write it in the column form. So, example. What is the example? Like space, okay, so this is going to be the structure. So here what you have to find out? The missing word. So how will we find out? What is the process? Like we have to read it word by word. As I have always said you in the editing thing also, you have to concentrate on each word. The word space. Is there any problem? No. Space shuttle. There is no problem also in shuttle word. And then what? Atlantis. Is there any problem? Space, shuttle, Atlantis? No. Which is no problem. Which is orbiter. Okay. So we know orbiter is something. Okay. It's a thing. Orbiter. When we write, he lives in house. Do we write like this? He lives in house. Or we include something over here. He lives in the house. So what do we include? The. So here, when we know the house, then we include the over here. Similarly, we can include a or an before certain things. So here, as this is a vowel, so what we will include here? An. So the missing word is an. Okay. So space shuttle Atlantis, which is orbiter, and the missing word is an. And what you have to write there in this before thing? The word which will be before an, that is. And in this after, what you have to write? Orbiter, that is which is after that. Okay. So if you are unable to understand that what is the orbiter and what is this thing, what does it deals with, no problem. You have to do it again, this thing, that is there any problem with space, is there any problem with shuttle, is there any problem with Atlantis, space shuttle Atlantis, this is the thing, there is no problem, which is no problem. Then you will find out, okay, some problem can be here. So you have to do it in this way if you don't know what this orbiter thing is, provided that. Okay. So now next what we will see, time. How much time is going to take. Next line, began its first flight October 1965. So what I have told you, always go word by word. Began its first, no problem. First flight, no problem. October 1965, began its first flight October 1965. No, there is some problem over here. Began its first flight. So किसी ने अपना पहला flight शुरू किया. Began its first flight. This Hindi is going to go in your head. Okay, so when you're reading the question paper in your examination hall, and especially you're dealing with an unseen passage. So began its first flight. किसी ने अपना पहला flight शुरू किया. So no problem with this thing. Next is October 1965. Okay, so some problem can be here. Began its first flight October 1965. No. So I hope now it's clear that there is some problem over here. And what is the problem? Began its first flight in. So a in will be here. So where are you going to write this in? Over here. And what is the before word? Flight. And what is the after word? October. Okay, so you can see the time, which again this will take maximum 10 minutes. I'm not telling you it's not going to be 10 minutes. You're going to just do it in 5 minutes because it's going to be very easy. This is one of the tough things that I took you to show. But this thing, you know, this is an easy thing, and this type of things is going to come. Okay. So in case certain uncommon words is there, then just read the line and try to do that. Okay, is there any problem in this reading thing? When I'm reading it, is there any problem that is coming in my ear? So focus on that pronunciation, focus on reading the line, like began its first flight October 1965. Read it repeated number of times, and if something hurts your ears, then you will know that it is that thing. If you don't know about the tense, if you don't know about the determiners, if you don't know about the preposition, then you're going to apply this trick. Which trick? That is reading the line continuously repeated number of times, just to see that if there is any problem in the line. Okay. So this was your omission section.